mastermind behind the mic. Give me what you like, never think about it twice. Coming with the real facts, and that's for real. Along with special guests, you know the deal. Label as the podcast, I stand on it. I'm all about my grind, cause my grind I be on it. That's what it's all about. When you're trying to be successful, you know what I'm saying? The solo show, yeah.
Back in the building, y'all. Episode 35 of the Solo Show with yours truly, the mastermind behind the mic, the podcast Back at it again, coming from Studio 808. For those of you that hadn't checked out the station, that's right, Jock Johnson Radio. Y'all check it out. It's available on Live 365. Go to your Google Play Store and download the app. That way you can have all access to my station and other stations. Just go in and type in Jock Johnson Radio, and you'll have it. All right, got a special guest in the building today. Good friend of mine, classmate, class of 1992. He's in the building, and we're going to chop it up today. We're going to have some fun, man. We're going to have some fun. My guy, Brent Walton, is in the building, y'all. So let's get ready to bring him on. My man, in the building.
How's it going?
Let's give him a round of applause, y'all. What's up, brother?
Man, not much. Not much.
Man, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir.
I remember back in April, I think it was April, you had hit me up on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. And you told me that you listened to one of my shows.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
I've listened to quite a few of your shows since then. I've been keeping up with you.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate that, man.
Yes,
I really
sir.
appreciate it. And, you know, that meant a lot, man. You checking me out, and, you know, we were classmates.
That's right.
We
That's
were
right.
classmates, and hopefully this
A
is not
couple
the
years
last.
ago.
Yeah. And hopefully this is not the last time you'll be on the show, man. I'm looking forward to bring you back on some more. So,
Right.
Man, good to have you on. How's life been treating you?
Man,
I mean, it's been a long time since high school, man.
Man, yeah. So, been working in X-ray for the last 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
Worked at OCH for 22 years, and just a couple years ago changed jobs. And man, right now I got probably the best job I've probably ever could ask for. I work 2 nights a week.
What?
Wednesday, Thursday night, 2 16-hour shifts, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I got a part-time job. I fill in at Mississippi State at the Student Health Center a couple of days a week. Every once in a while when the girl's off. So I got to have my side gig every once in a while, make a little money here or there. But man, I realized the older you get, money is good. You got to pay your bills,
right?
But it's not everything.
Yeah, it's not, man. It's not.
Life is too short. I worked with a guy, OCH, for 22 years, 20-something years. Got sick, ALS, ended up passing away last year.
Wow.
Just realized, man. So there I worked every Monday through Friday. I was on call every other week.
Yeah.
And I was tied down to the hospital every other week for 20 years. And I missed so much of my family stuff. You know, I lived just far enough away in Starkville here. It was a little over 30 minutes to get home to family stuff. So, you know, if it fell on my wake of call, I missed it. Christmases, you know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all that stuff. And man, after he got sick, I just realized, you know, life is too short. The older you get, the more people we lose.
Yeah.
So,
and that's been going on a lot.
Yes, it has.
It's been going on a lot.
Lost a neighbor that I grew up with last week. They live down in your area of the woods, down around Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you see it short. See people, it seems like they're younger and younger when they start passing away. So, man, I try to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
I push myself to go do stuff every day, you know, try to enjoy life, you know.
Yeah. You know, we can continue to talk about that forever, man, you know, about it. And you know, you have to enjoy every moment like it's your last.
Exactly.
You know, even though, you know, we don't like talking about death, but it's going to happen. It's
Oh, it
going to
does.
happen eventually, man. And while you're here, you try to make the best of your life and do the things that you want to do and set yourself out to do
Exactly.
because you don't know what the next minute or hours or day is going to bring.
That's right. You ain't guaranteed any time.
Yeah.
So,
So
basically, working in the medical field, we see it every day.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I push myself. Either I'm at the gym or I'm playing golf.
Yeah.
And
I know you're a big gym guy,
man,
especially.
I not as big as I used to be.
Mhm,
Got into powerlifting for several years and was
mhm,
in a competition down in Philadelphia and tore my
mhm.
shoulder all to pieces in doing bench press. Had
Wow.
almost 400 pounds on the bar. And my wife, Wendy, which we've been married for 26 years now, dated
Yeah.
in high school, started dating in high school. And
26.
26 years.
Man. Hey, that gotta be a round of applause, man.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And, but she was videoing, I could see it when it popped.
Gosh, man.
When they say your body will let you know when something's wrong with it, I knew, and I was just so close to competition and had
Yeah.
it injected with some steroids and cortisone Monday before. And my first lift, I benched 375, and I was like, my shoulder's starting to hurt again a little bit. And that second lift, man, it just snapped.
Gosh.
Old classmates, husband put it back together. Mary Atkinson, her husband, put it
Okay.
back together
Yeah.
up here. Starkville, man, did a great job. I hadn't had a better problem since. So,
Yeah.
but when I say I tore everything on my
Gosh.
rotator cuff.
Man.
so at first he's like, "Well, you'll be able to go back and compete again." Then after surgery, he came back and said, "Nope."
You know what? I wouldn't even want to compete, man.
Man, I loved it. I loved it. Hey,
Yeah.
it's something about grabbing hold of that heavy weight.
Yeah.
I just got through. I'd squatted 515 right before that. I was benching a little over 400, and I was deadlifting around 600. So I got pretty big there for a little bit,
Yeah.
naturally. And
Yeah.
but I guess the biggest thing I say in that I qualified for worlds in my age group, which I was in my early 40s when I did that. So
Mhm.
that was that was an accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
But after that, man, now when I go to the gym, all I'm doing is just trying to stay fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I realize I'll never be what I used to be, and
Yeah.
I just have to realize I keep easing up on the weight. Get heavier here, so I can get to a point
Yeah.
like, man, I don't need to do that. I don't
Yeah.
have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I used to be big in the gym, man, at one time. Used to go, man. My wife used to tell me, damn, you're gonna live in there. But just something that I really, really enjoyed, being in there. Go
yeah,
in and get my workouts in. And I never, try to get in no competitions or nothing like that. But it's just the idea of just being fit.
yeah, that's
And
right.
it felt real good going in there. uh, Getting it in. I was mainly a cardio freak. I don't. I mean, man, I know a lot of people that don't like to do a lot of cardio, but
Yeah.
I was buck wild on
So,
cardio,
so,
man.
so I'll tell you how I got into powerlifting. So I
Mhm,
was running. I used to run,
mhm,
and I'd run at the hottest time of the day. I got to where I run a few 5Ks, and I got plantar fasciitis in my foot. I don't know if you ever heard that before, but I got where I couldn't run no more. It took me probably about a year to get over that. It was a sheath up under in your foot. It's painful, especially running. Runners get it
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
And one of my buddies I worked with, he's like, "Hey, you want to try this powerlifting stuff?" I said, I was nearly 40 years old then. I was like, "Well," I said, "I'll do it as long as I hold together."
Yeah.
And I did.
So how long did you do powerlifting?
It was about 4 years.
Okay.
But man, when I say that I was in it, man, I was watching videos. I was, we were training. I mean, we would have to go to the hot tub to loosen up to walk out. I mean, we were training so hard,
Damn.
and so I mean, when I say I was in it, I was in it,
Yeah.
and it was fun. I mean, me and my wife, we don't have any children, and that was my hobby. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I do. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I've always lifted weights. I've always ran. I've always done some kind of something, and it's just something that somebody talked me into, and man, I got into it and I loved it. Loved it. I would do it again if my body would hold up. Now the more times I have a hard time
Hey,
walking down the
hey, leave it
stairs.
alone. Leave it alone, man.
We ain't no spring chickens no more.
No, no. You know, though, it's days, man, that I get up, man. You know, it's like, man, I feel the age now. And,
Yeah,
and then there's some days you get up and everything is good, but you do have those days where the body lets you know, hey, you're not
yeah.
that person you were about 10, 15 years ago. So,
That's right.
so
It's got to a point now where if I sit around too much, I get stiffened
yeah,
up. I have to get out
right,
and move.
right. And like here in the last several months, you know, I went through a weight loss challenge.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
on there.
and I was at one point pushing like up to almost 230, and I've known some times where I was close to 240.
Yeah,
And you could, if you saw some older pictures, you can see the head is looking like a cantaloupe, and and my wife had got into the weight loss challenge, and
yeah,
she was at me about it. You know, she was just kind of throwing it at me, and I'm like, man, I got to do something. You know, I'm like, oh, she's not gonna leave me behind. So I ended up getting in it.
yeah.
I got in it, and it worked out. It worked out. I actually did 2 rounds of the challenge.
Man, that's all part of that part of life now. Just staying healthy. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
try to stay healthy. Try to be on this planet as long as we can be here. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And be here healthy.
Yeah. And you know, I got to slow my roll on some things, man. As far as sometimes, man, I want to turn, and then I got this thing here which I don't need,
Uh-huh.
but you know,
Well, see,
for the
you
most,
got me into a bad habit after I watched your podcast on them cigars.
you watched the cigar episode,
Oh
right?
yeah, man,
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
yeah, man.
I
That
actually
one,
went out, got me a couple cigars, smoked them.
yeah. Look, I'm a bad influence
The
now,
bad
man.
influence.
But yeah, that episode, that was a funny episode. It was a pretty good episode, by the way. You know, because my guy Gerald, he actually gave us some game on cigars. You
Yeah,
know, because
like
I was just going in places, in cigar shops and just buying cigars because it looked good, man. You
yeah,
know, I didn't really educate myself enough on the brand of the cigar, but he told some good stuff on that about the
yes, he
cigars.
did.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he did.
did.
Very informative.
Yeah,
I just needed him on the phone when I went into the cigar shop.
yeah, right. Oh, and maybe he gonna watch this episode, man. We're gonna talk about that, man. Talk about it.
He needs to come back and inform us a little bit more.
Yeah. But the drinking, I've kind of slowed my roll quite a bit though on the drink. I have a drink, and mainly a lot of times it's beer,
Yeah,
and I try to stay away from that a lot more because it depends on I guess the brand of the beer, because I drink Michelob Ultra, and I look at because of the calories or whatever and all that, it's light beer. Uh, don't try to stay away from the heavy stuff, but as far as liquors and all that, I do drink vodka, but I don't drink it as much as I used to. It's just occasionally. Like when I do my shows, I either have a drink or I'm always got this vape, just something to keep me going during the show. But it's just far as a everyday thing, like I see a lot of people, man, that they get like they just got to have a drink every day, and I don't do that. I
I
don't do
mean,
that.
I'll have a couple beers socially when we're out playing golf.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll go out to supper and I'll grab a beer or mixed drink, but and I'm a cheap drunk now. After a couple, that's all I want. Especially when you don't drink much.
Now, look, tell me a little bit about the golf game, man, because I never played golf.
No,
I've seen people
don't
play.
ever pick it up as a horrible habit. Horrible habit. So I started back when I was in college at Meridian. Had some guys that worked at the hospitals there. I went with a couple times and played a little bit
Mhm.
when I got out of college back when I came to Louisville, and I was working night shift and didn't have anybody to play with during the day, so I ended up quitting. And after hurting my shoulder, I was playing during golf game on my phone.
Yeah,
I was with
yeah.
my cousins. But my cousins and a bunch of us were on the same team playing this golf game. And I was like, I wouldn't mind going back out and hitting a few balls. And talked to one of my buddies from the gym. He's like, well, come on, let's go.
Mhm.
And we went out to the driving range, and driving range was closed. And I said, well, let's just go play a few holes. And
Yeah.
man, I hadn't looked back.
Doesn't look back.
I even got one of our other old classmates, old Turnip Seed, Chris Turnip Seed.
Yeah, yeah, man. I like it.
I talked to him. He played back years ago, back when we was in college too,
Yeah.
and I got him come back out. Man, he's done got 3 or 4 sets of golf clubs since he
Hey, now where is he living at now?
he's in Louisville.
Okay.
He's got
Okay.
an office in Jackson. He's moved up in the Highway Patrol. He does some kind of media with
Okay.
the Highway Patrol over several units. I don't know exactly what rank he is now, but he's looking close to retirement now.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
had several of our classmates went in Highway Patrol.
Okay.
Brett Gooden, which he retired I
Yeah.
think last year, and
Yeah.
Reed Harrington.
Yeah.
He's down in Jackson, I think. Around the cap, I mean, he was working at the Capitol. I don't know if he's still down at the Capitol or not. But yeah, it was several of them went through Highway Patrol school that we graduated with. So
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
yeah,
I was mentioning to you a little bit earlier before we got started, man, about classmates. And I'm just gonna put that out here now. It would be very nice to be able to get some other classmates to come on the show. So for those of you that will be checking out the episode, hey, get in contact with me. Get in contact with me if you want to be a part of the show. I like to bring a couple of people on at one time, and we can kind of reflect back on our years of growing up in high school years, man, and school period. So I'm looking forward to hearing from some people after they check this episode out. So
after this episode, they're like, "Oh Lord, I don't know."
yeah,
The folks from Louisville crazy.
yeah, that's right. Louisville, Mississippi is in here.
Man, I still
Yeah.
keep up with Louisville. Actually, we got a little old cabin down in Noxapater.
Mhm.
Now we sold our house in Starkville a couple years ago, and ended up sort of early inherited a little cabin, some land down in Noxapater, and we had to redo it. And we got a condo here in Starkville. And,
Okay.
so we're sort of back and forth. We got our foot back in Winston County anyway. So
Yeah.
hopefully, maybe one day retire back down there so we can live full time back home, a little bit closer to family.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I still gotta keep up with Louisville, especially our football team.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
the WCVI, the news here in Columbus here had a thing where they go through all the football teams. I actually watched a little bit of it the other night about Louisville's team. So
Mhm.
look like they're gonna be loaded again this year. Hopefully we
Yeah.
going for another championship.
Yeah, I got my hoodie too, man. My state championship hoodie, from this last year, man. So I got it, and I can't wait till the fall come where I can start wearing it because it's gonna hang where it's at right now.
That's right. It's a little too warm right now to even think
Yeah,
about the hoodie.
yeah, man. I feel bad for a lot of people that have to work outside during these temperatures here, man, because it is extremely
Whew.
extremely hot here, man,
As the
and
old folks would say, it's the dog days of summer. It's hot.
Dog days. And football season is fixing to start for high school within
Yeah.
the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot out there. And my youngest son, he actually, they was out this past week from practice because of the heat. I think they start back to maybe tomorrow. I think they go back tomorrow practice, and school starts the following week. So, uh, man, it's hot out there.
Yes,
It's
man.
hot out there for anybody, but especially these football players. And I'm glad the state took the necessary precautions into uh, counseling practices, this past week because it was ridiculous out there, and it still is.
Yes. And I think it's hotter this year. And I was looking on the forecast. Temperatures over 100. Had one day forecast 104 here in
Yeah,
Starkville for this next week. So
yeah,
uh,
yeah. It,
hot.
it's ridiculously hot, man, and I don't want I hate for people that work outside that's working on these roofs and all this stuff, man.
Hey,
Woo.
if it's too hot to play golf for me, you know it's hot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I man, if it takes a lot for me not to go, we've been when it was 30 degrees outside, but now
Yeah.
100 degrees. There's only so much clothes you can take off. In the wintertime, you put more clothes on.
All right, y'all. We're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and we're gonna come back with more of the solo show right here from Studio 808. Y'all stay tuned.
Back with more of the Jock Johnson podcast solo show.
All right, y'all. We're back with more of the solo show. Got my classmate in the building, my man Brent Walton. Wow,
Yeah,
man, it feels good, man, to
yeah,
have somebody in my class
man. We hadn't
on the
talked in
show.
what? It's been a while.
Man, it's been quite some time. Been quite some time, man. And it really feels good though to be able to connect, get back connected, and you know, I think I got to do better on my end too. Is trying to reach out and connect to a lot of the classmates. Uh, and I think that's something a lot of us hadn't been doing, was trying to connect with one another. Because there's some people I hadn't seen since graduation.
I hadn't either. I hadn't
Yeah,
either. Of course,
yeah,
now with social media and everything else, it's a little bit easier to
right,
stay in touch, with people.
right,
But
right. With Facebook and all, because there's a lot of people that's on Facebook, and yeah,
I,
definitely,
I look back on how, man, we had a pretty good group of folks that we graduated with. I mean,
yeah,
still some of my best friends today are from high school.
yeah,
Those people, you know where they're from. You know who they are
hmm,
and where they come from. So, that's kind of folks you can you know them.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah. So since I got to be funny. I got to be funny now. I got to be funny. It's something I'm fixed to pull this up, man. So check this out. What you think about this here?
Who's that guy?
Oh man, those were good old days,
It
man.
was.
Those good
Whew.
old days. And look, I didn't leave myself out, and I hate the photo is not really clear, but man, when I saw this one, I saw my sons all day long, man.
Yeah, I remember commenting on one of your pictures with your kids that
Yeah,
man,
man.
you marked them all up.
Yeah, yeah.
They look
Hey,
just like you.
hey, look, man. If I had to go to court and try to deny, man, that judge would run me. They'd put me in jail for just coming in there, man.
They just laugh and walk
They
out.
just like, yeah, hey, hey, lock him up. But
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, yeah, my sons, got 4 sons, uh, and pretty much I'm down to like my last one now as far as finishing school. I just had one to recently graduate uh this year, be exact. Just graduated. He's going starting off at Hines. He's going to school. And then I got my youngest one here now that's in the 10th grade, and he's playing football. I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. He plays football. Uh, I'm kind of scared of the left hand, him driving and going on, because he we got, look got him a starter car, one of my old cars I
Yeah.
got. starter car. He's got his permit, but he won't be able to get his license until later on this year. So his mom, hey, she lets him, she'll ride around the neighborhood, wouldn't let him drive. I got in the car with him one night, man. I was about he was like, I got it, Dad, I got it. And I was like, man. But the thing is, I'm getting trying to get used to him with this left hand because he's left-handed, and
Yeah,
and with him turning and going on, man, he's kind of like
yeah,
he's cross-handed, and that doesn't look good. So I'm scared he might lose control. So,
yeah.
but he's gonna take driver's ed.
Just
Uh,
practice, just
yeah,
practice.
he's gonna.
Especially living in a more populated area. We grew up
Yeah,
in
right,
Louisville. It was a lot
right,
easier to learn how to
right,
drive because there wasn't
right.
that many cars on the road.
Right, right. Because see, at his grandparents' house, they got all this land. Man, he could go out there in the field and we let him drive around out in the field. But here is totally different.
Yeah,
But a lot of his friends are driving now, and just recently got their license. But I think he's gonna be fine. It's just the fact of the matter that I got to get used to that left hand, man. Him because he kind of had me on edge when I was riding with him. I was like, oh no, and hell, I was scared. I was literally scared. His mom was laughing.
so my
I'm
brother's
like,
kids, I'm still worried about driving. They've been driving for years.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So time flies. It really flies. I think back on uh, high school, man. It's been what almost 30. What about
31
30
years.
years? Yeah, yeah. It's been a minute,
Yeah,
and a lot of things have changed. A lot of people are not here with us no more. Uh, and you see how the world is. The world is crazy with all different kinds of stuff that's happening every day, but that's just the way the world we live in. And
yes,
I
it
think
is.
think back on the times when we were growing up, and it was good times. It
Yeah,
was good times, but it's just the change now. The generations have changed, and uh, what more can I say? Just try to prepare yourself, and we could talk about so many different things, what's going on and all, but for the most of it, like with me, my sons, and I try to uh, keep them informed, and tell them, hey, got to make some good decisions.
that's right.
I can't be with you all the time. I can't be everywhere you go. So you got to think about what mom and dad, was talking to you about when a situation arises.
That's
So
right.
um, but it's different, man. It's
It's a
it's totally
different,
different. It's a
it's a
different
different
world.
world. Seems like.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I think we sort of grew up in probably the best times.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely. We definitely did, man. We definitely came up with some great times. And uh, I was, brought up around some great people. Grew up around some great people. Raised by some great people. Uh, Family did a heck of a job, man, raising me. Uh, I think, I say it all the time. I think Mississippi was the best place for me because I was born in Chicago and stayed there. I was kind of off and on throughout my life, but that final decision came. Hey, I want you here down here with me, my grandmother. So uh, that was great. So.
yeah,
And I got, and here I am sitting here with a classmate,
that's right.
because if I hadn't been here, I would have never known you. So,
That's right.
um,
That's right. Like I said, some of my best friends are still from high school. I mean, like I said, watching your podcast. I mean, just listen to you. Just sort of catching up on how you been. I hadn't talked to
yeah,
you in quite a while.
yeah,
It's good to keep up with folks.
yeah, it is. And I'm glad that you really you check the show out, you watch the show, you follow me, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Supporting one
That's
another,
right.
from all walks of life, man. I don't get caught up in all the hype about this and that, and it makes me feel good knowing that people like you and others. It's quite a few others out there too, classmates that put in time and watch the show. And I always when I do an episode, I make sure that everybody gets it.
That's right.
So I appreciate the support. Continue to support me. I support you to the end. You've been the same person I've known for a long time, man. You never changed. You always been the same person, and I respect you quite a deal for that.
That's sort of like the way we grew up.
Yeah.
Growing up in Louisville was a close
Right.
community.
Yeah.
And we all was there for each other.
Yeah. That's how it was, man. Yeah, that's how it was. Uh, the hometown.
That's right.
I felt like growing up, that was the place to be growing up, man. I mean, Louisville, Mississippi, yes, not Louisville, Kentucky.
That's right.
If people say Louisville, it's Louisville.
That's right.
Louisville, Mississippi. I felt like that was the place to be growing up, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Me too.
I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I grew up there. And as I was saying, man, just being around some great people that really cared about you and your well-being and what direction you was trying to go.
That's right.
And I really appreciate that. Really do.
Yep. Couldn't ask for better. I got to tell people there's probably better places to live than here. I just don't know where they at.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure they are, but like I said, man, I'm happy right here in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Don't see me ever going anywhere else.
Yeah,
it's home.
There's nothing like it. It gets hot as hell, but it is what it is.
I think I'd rather take the hot than the cold.
Right.
I don't want to shovel snow.
Right. Because we should be used to that now. We older now. Yeah, we've been in this all our life. Dealing with the heat.
Yeah, we just know how to deal with it now. Just come inside.
Yeah, just come inside, man, and pray the air conditioner don't go out, man. That's why it's important to keep it serviced.
I was telling somebody the other day talking about school. I was like, we didn't have air conditioning in school till like 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah.
I said it was you were blessed just to get to sit by the box fan on the floor.
Look, let me tell you, man. Since you mentioned something about the air conditioner. Growing up, my grandmother, we stayed in an apartment, so we didn't have air conditioning. We had the heat, but we didn't have the central air. So we ended up getting a window unit.
Yep.
Man, I think I never came out of the house, man.
I remember coming in just sitting in front of it,
Yeah.
And we grew up. We only had one bathroom.
Yeah, right.
It was
right.
Mom, Dad, me, and my brother, and my grandmother all lived in the same house with one bathroom.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after we left till they added on another bathroom.
Yeah, man. One bathroom, man. They have to call and make an appointment.
Hey, luckily we lived out in the country where we could go outside if we had to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're right about that. Yeah, but those were some great times growing up. It really made you appreciate what you had, especially now. Because so many people was unfortunate, man, to have certain things. A lot of people had some tough times.
Yes.
And I was always taught that you don't go picking on somebody less fortunate than you. If you can help them, you do that, but you don't pick on nobody that's less fortunate than you, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what kind of life they're living. So, and I tell my sons that too. I tell them that too. I understand you can't help everybody, and you see somebody that's trying to help themselves and they having a tough time, and if you can be of any assistance,
that's right.
Hey, help them.
You got to pick people up. I mean,
yeah,
ain't no need to knock anybody down.
Right. That's right, man.
Life is hard enough; it knocks you down enough. You don't need other people knocking you down on top of it.
Yeah.
Sure don't.
Yeah.
That's what's best to be, is just try to be good to everybody. You just, like I said, you don't know what people are going through.
You don't, man. You don't. So let me ask you this: how long have you been in the medical field?
Forever. 28 years. I graduated. Went to Hines for a year. and then got into the X-ray program at Meridian. Went 2 years through the
Okay.
X-ray program there. Graduated. I turned 21. Graduated. I turned 21 in July. Graduated at the end. I think it was 1st of August.
Mhm.
So 28 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Worked at Louisville 4 years. We had actually bought a house out on 14. Was going to live there, and then I knew I wasn't never going to get a day job. My wife was working. My
Yeah.
wife was a nurse, so she was working days in Starkville, and I knew I wasn't never going to get a day job there anytime soon. So they offered me a day job in Starkville. So ended up moving up here. We drove back and forth for several years, and ended up moving up here.
Yeah.
And but it actually worked out good. I mean, I've pretty much learned everything I could learn in the X-ray. I'm ready. I do MRIs, X-rays, CTs.
So you done seen quite a bit.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
more than I want to sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So have you had any times doing what you're doing where it bothered your sleep or anything like that till it was that bad?
oh yeah, I'll tell you a story. Um, Knee X-rays are something that usually is not something you do regularly unless it's something other trauma to it, especially on a kid.
Mhm.
Had a kid come in one time. They ordered a knee X-ray. I'm thinking, man, it's just a waste of money. You X-ray the kid. They had a big old what's called an apple core lesion, where it's just the bone is just eat out where the cancer is.
Oh,
Um, and man, I thought about that girl for years and years, and it was probably been 20 something years ago. Had a girl come in, talking to her. She had an artificial leg, and it ended up being that same girl.
what?
She'd grown up. She had kids. Was doing great. Hadn't had a bit of problem since she went through treatment. But man, that was one of the things that just kids really
Mhm.
stick in your head. Older
Mhm.
people. You know that they lived a good long life, and that's just
Mhm.
life when you lose them. It's still hard,
Yeah.
but it's the kids, man. Car wrecks that come in. Stuff you find cancers and bad stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something other, man. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Can't even imagine, man. But
But it's at first, I've been doing it for so long now, it don't bother me as bad.
mhm.
But it's just one of those things where I don't think you ever get used to.
Yeah.
But um, but I've seen more than I want to see on certain things.
Yeah.
That's one good thing where I work at now. I don't know anybody.
Right.
When I worked at Louisville, it was bad
Yeah.
when people came in. I knew them.
New.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Starkville wasn't as bad because a lot of people I didn't know.
Mhm.
But I've been here long enough now where I know good many people. But over at Uport, I don't really know anybody in the
Yeah.
community. Besides a few, there's a handful of people, but people come in, I don't really know them, so it makes it a little bit easier when you don't know them as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
at Louisville, I think it was the hardest time
Yeah.
because it was your neighbors coming in, your family coming in.
Mhm.
Um, the worst case, you get called in to X-ray somebody or go to surgery or somebody, some of your kinfolks.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
bad. You come
Yeah.
in, you see your family standing outside, and you're thinking,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so,
I can't even imagine, man.
whew,
Yeah. Man, brother, you've been in it for quite some time.
yes,
And yeah,
yes,
like I
yes.
just said, you've seen quite a few things.
Man,
Um,
I've been doing it for so long. I tell people, I said, our job it's almost like working at a factory or something other. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. The only thing that's different is the people.
yeah,
That's something that I enjoy. I love talking to people.
people.
Know your patient, try to make them laugh a little bit,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
them smile.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the only thing different in my job now is just the people.
Mhm.
Uh, Try to get to know them a little. If you talk to somebody long enough, you're gonna get a connection somewhere.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. Had a
Yeah.
patient come in the other day. We started talking. Sure enough, they was kin to a guy that I knew from Louisville. His brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell people. I said, we talk long enough, we're gonna be kin somewhere.
Yeah. Hey man, you never be the stranger, man.
That's right. That's
Never be the
right.
stranger,
Uh,
man.
but you got to enjoy people, man. You got to want to help people to be in the medical field.
Yeah.
You gotta be willing to serve people, make them, put your needs to the side, and make theirs first.
Now let me ask you this, and I'm going back to COVID.
Yeah.
How was it like, man, during that time when COVID was going
So
on?
I tell people the first round of COVID that came through
Mhm.
was bad.
Yeah.
Like we had people in ICU that was sick, that was dying daily, and we had the ICUs full. We had the ERs full of folks, and these were critically sick patients. I mean, like they were intubated. They was having to turn them from their stomach to their back to their back to their stomach, trying to get that stuff moved around.
Yeah.
I think, especially at first, we didn't know how to treat this stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to expect, and but now, I mean, you still have people getting sick. It's sort of like the flu now.
Yeah.
Some people are going to get sicker than others. Some people are still going to die with it. So same with the flu. If a patient's immunity's down, they get the flu. They have pre-existing conditions. It still could kill them.
Kill them. Yeah.
But when they shut down everything, it wasn't here yet.
Yeah.
Like when COVID, when they shut down surgeries, elective surgeries. They shut. I mean, it was a ghost town.
Yeah.
And about time they opened it back up is when COVID hit in Mississippi.
That was a hell of a time, man. During that time, and I thought about that, because you're in the medical field, and I wanted to know what it was like
So, man,
during that time.
when we had a patient come in, we had to go to get a patient with COVID to bring them down to do a CAT scan. We was having to, gown up, glove up, double mask. We didn't have all the masks that we needed. We didn't have all the cleaning supplies that we needed. I mean, we were having to make do a lot of times with just what we had.
So what were the shifts like?
You're talking about like
Yeah, when you go in, because during those times, people had to work.
Oh yeah.
Work in the medical field. It was.
I mean, with us, I mean it wasn't too bad. Really, when none of us really got sick with COVID during that time, our department really did everything that they could do to try to prevent from getting sick with it. A lot of cleaning afterwards. Like we would have to shut down the CAT scan room for so many hours after we cleaned it to make sure that when we brought the next patient in, that they wouldn't get exposed to it.
Right.
So I mean, it was one of those times where there was so much uncertainty, and every time we had to go do a patient with COVID, every time you gowning up and gloving up, man, you're hoping and praying that you don't come down with it.
Yeah.
And with me being around him, my mom had lung cancer several years before COVID hit, thank goodness. And I was afraid to be around her because, you can be dormant for a day or two before you even start showing symptoms.
Yeah.
And the only time we saw our parents, Wendy was working at the hospital at OCH then too. But the only time we saw our parents was through a car window. They'd come by. My mom would drop us off some food every once in a while. I got to have mama's cooking,
Yeah, right.
But they'd pop the hatch back. We'd take it out, close the trunk, talk to them through the window. And I was just afraid to get in contact with them just because I definitely didn't want to get her sick.
Right.
when your parents are getting older, that's one thing I was like, you definitely don't want to be the cause of them getting sick and end up something that could happen to them.
Right,
And,
right,
you don't want to blame yourself.
right.
But it was a year and a half, 2 years or so during all that
Hmm.
we would see each other from a distance,
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
on the phone. But
yeah,
I think that was probably the hardest part,
yeah, yeah,
just being so isolated. Uh,
yeah.
but it
Uh,
seems like, man, COVID just screwed the whole world up.
It did. It
Not
did.
only with the medical, but everything else.
Everything. And
Uh,
that was a hell of a period because with my job, we was off almost like 3 months,
yeah,
with that going on. Uh yeah. I enjoyed the time being at home, no lie. I'm not gonna lie. It gave me an opportunity to work on some other stuff and but it was a tough time. And you being in the house and all you could do was just watch TV and play board games or some stuff like that or whatever. But
yeah,
um, it was a heck of a situation, in that beginning, it was a lot of people that passed away
yeah.
because there wasn't no vaccines or none of that going there. Nobody know how to handle this stuff, man, and people was getting it and was passing away. And I know quite a few people that passed away uh, due
We
to
see
due to COVID. Yeah.
young people, getting sick and passing away with it. And I mean, it was getting everybody. You know,
Yeah, it was. It
so
was. I had
crazy,
my
crazy,
I had my
crazy
I had my
time.
round of it. I had my round of it. Um, when it was going, it was quite some time after. It was kind of like everything was it was still ramped up, but it wasn't as ramped up as it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and, uh, and
I had my go with it too.
yeah,
And the only reason I even knew that I had COVID was because other people at that time, I was switched over to U4, that other people in my department had it. And I
mhm,
started running a low grade fever one night, had some sinus stuff.
yeah,
And I went and got tested and tested positive for it. And really, what I got version of COVID, I got over quicker than a regular cold.
yeah, yeah.
But of course, at the time, what you don't really hear about anymore is these infusions that they gave. When
Mhm,
when people got COVID, there was an infusion like an IV, like over an hour or so. I had to drive to Tupelo to get it,
mhm.
and I don't know if that helped me, but you don't even hear about people getting that anymore. So
No, you
I don't know
don't.
exactly what happened. I don't know what all they gave us during
Yeah,
the experiment on us.
yeah. Well, what we've came a long way from that.
Yeah,
We've came a long way. It's still out here. I
yeah.
mean, it's not going anywhere. I don't think it'll never go
It's,
anywhere. Just like you
it's
said, just like the flu.
yeah.
Uh,
I just hope it don't ramp back up like that first version of it again.
yeah,
I think we as the medical community, I think know how to treat it a little bit better than what we did it when it first came out. Maybe.
right, right.
I hope.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope.
I think so. I think so. I think they can treat it a lot better than in the beginning because hell, they didn't know which way to go.
Did you get
Well,
the vaccine?
I did. I did. I
I did.
did.
I got the first one.
Yeah, I
That
got
was
it.
the only one that and we debated back and forth. And of
Hmm.
course, for me working with it and what I saw at the first, I
Hmm.
really didn't question it too much. I was like, well, at my age, you know,
Hmm.
half my life is over anyway. I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to have any kids, so I don't have to worry
Hmm.
about that.
Hmm.
So if I get COVID, there's a good chance that I could really get sick and die. Or
Yeah.
if I don't get the vaccine, or if
Yeah.
I do get the vaccine, side effects, who knows? We still may not know all the side effects from the
Right,
vaccine.
right. I thought about all that too in the beginning about that vaccine. I was like, man, I got to do something because my family, and if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down trying to save myself
That's right.
and my family. So hey, it is what it is. I went on it. I got that vaccine. I was in
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
I was in line in the car.
I was one of the first ones to step up to get it.
Yeah.
That's like, I ain't got anything to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
but
So
but now, looking back, I don't know. I would question it more now than I would have then. But now, like I said, that first wave that came through,
Mm-hmm.
it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And people, people sort of downplay it now. But when I saw what I saw when it first came through,
Mm-hmm.
it was no joke.
Yeah,
It was scary. It was
It was
scary
scary,
time.
man. It was, man. Man, and what really got me when everything started shutting down. I knew it was bad.
Yeah,
I knew it was bad when they started shutting stuff down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was the best thing to do or not. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I think we've all been exposed to it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have. But I did. I want to say again, I did enjoy the time off.
I wished I would have had some time. I can say that I enjoyed the extra money that I made during COVID.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you made the extra money, man. You
Well,
made it.
they had special funds. The government gave the hospital so much money, I guess, to stay afloat, especially when they shut things down. But what we call COVID money.
Yeah.
We got so much money per patient that we X-rayed. It wasn't a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $20.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we was at one time, one day, if you work a night shift by yourself for 12 hours, you may do 20,
Yeah.
25 patients, and that's
Gosh.
the night, and that would
Yeah.
add up pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You're right.
But
You're right.
I mean, at one time we were sort of fighting to get COVID patients. So we get
Yeah.
that extra $20.
Yeah. I'll go find somebody.
Hey, if we in it, we might as well get paid a little for it.
Man, hey brother, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. Oh
Yes, sir.
man, this has been a great conversation, and we're gonna have to do it again.
Hey,
Hopefully I can,
if any of our classmates are thinking about, man, they need to get in touch with you, get
yeah,
on here with you. Get 2 or 3 of us on here. We'll have a sure enough good
yeah,
conversation.
we definitely will have a great conversation. Have somebody else along with us. But yeah,
We may be
man.
laughing all the way through it. Find some more of them old pictures.
All right, my man. Hey,
All
I
right.
appreciate you, Brent.
Enjoyed it. Anytime, man. You holler back at me. We'll get back in touch.
Definitely, man. I enjoyed you. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next time. All right, y'all. My man, Brent Walton. Hey, we about to take a quick 30-second break, and we're going to come back and wrap this thing up from Studio 808. Stay tuned. Solo show. All right, y'all. We are back with more of the solo show. About getting ready to wrap this thing up. Want to give a special thanks to my man Brent Walton, my classmate, class of 1992, Louisville High School, Louisville, Mississippi. Oh man, it was great having him on the show. Great. Enjoyed the convo. All right, for any guests that want to be a part of the Jock Johnson podcast, the solo show, have any questions or comments, hit me up on IG at the real Jock Johnson. Also, you can check me out here on my YouTube channel, the Jock Johnson Podcast LLC. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Also, you can check me out every Tuesday starting at midnight, again at 9 a.m., and then again at 9 p.m. Eastern on 216 The Blend Live 365 Radio, Cleveland, Ohio. Also, you can check out my station on Live 365, Jock Johnson Radio. Check it out. Also, you can check me out on my Facebook page at Jock Johnson. Also, you can check me out on TikTok, Jock Johnson Podcast. Also, you can check me out on Twitter at the Jock Johnson Podcast LLC. And also, you can check me out and hit me up in my email at jockjpodcast@gmail.com. All right, that's about going to wrap it up for yours truly, the mastermind behind the mic, the podcast Unc. Always remember, do what you love what you do, y'all. I'm out.